So I'm not
But
arguing it with you,
I
sir,
know, I
one
just
bit.
want you to know that I'm not arguing with you either, but I was right in the middle of finishing what I was saying.
So I need to stop you for a minute, Mr. Brooks,
I don't
because
consent to that, Your Honor, because
you don't have to consent,
I
but here
don't
we go.
consent or
Let
agree to
me.
being cut off right when I'm trying
All right,
to
I'm just
provide
going
the
to talk
court with
over him for a
information.
minute. I do not have any other information regarding the COVID-19 protocol, meaning anything specific about you, Mr. Brooks, other than what was put in the inmate communication, which reads, due to just learning I'm on COVID-19 protocol, I respectfully ask for all proceedings to be adjourned at this time, which is why I asked you if there was any other information you wanted to provide me as I consider your request, because the jail has not provided me with any specific information regarding the reason you were placed on protocol, whether you were exposed, whether you are showing symptoms. They cannot provide me with that information absent you giving them permission by signing an applicable authorization to do that. Without that, I have to rely upon you to provide that information to me if you so choose.
That is incorrect, because just yesterday you were trying to obtain the witness list that was in my cell. You had no problem whatsoever having the JA come down here to have me verify that they can go in my cell and search for that. So I find it very hard to believe that you can't consult with jail staff for them to tell you what is going on in my situation, where they know that I've just been seen by a nurse that placed me on this protocol for having a loss of taste, fatigue, and I have to wait for the results of my test. And until then, I am on a protocol which restricts me to my cell. That is very easy information to obtain, and I find it very hard that Your Honor cannot obtain that information, but can obtain a way to communicate with jail staff when there's a witness list involved. We're talking about someone's health that can affect not just you, but anybody else, not just officers, but also inmates. We're talking about health, and we're talking about safety. That has a lot of merit. And frankly, Your Honor, I'm afraid. I'm fully vaccinated, and I've never had COVID. I don't know what I'm looking at here. I'm that was the last thing I was hoping I would be told today, Your Honor. So I'm afraid right now. I'm not feeling well. I don't know what's going on with myself. That's the reason why I put in the sick call slip initially. I had been telling officers for days that I hadn't been feeling well, but I didn't know what it was. But I felt that I had to put in the sick call slip because I was not able to taste anything. That is the reason why I was seen by nurses. That is the reason why the COVID test was administered, and that's why I'm on the protocol as we speak.
Are you willing to discuss with me what tests were done? Again, I cannot obtain that information on my own.
I'm not a nurse, Your Honor. I don't know the name of the test. Like I said, I've never had this happen.
Let me clarify that. That was a pretty ambiguous question. So, you reported symptoms as that's what you're telling me, right?
Correct.
And you're saying some tests were done?
I mean, it's obvious. I mean, why can't it be verified with the nurse?
I have to verify it with you. The nurse will not provide me with this information.
But the jail can, because they control the movement. They control all inmate movement. I can't just go from my cell to a HSU.
Inmate movement is not the issue at the moment.
It's not, but I'm saying, how can I tell you, how can I answer what you're asking me? It doesn't make sense. We all understand that the jail itself controls the movement of the inmates. That's common sense, Your Honor.
I'm not here to talk about inmate movement at the moment. What I'm asking you is, do you believe you were tested for COVID?
I obviously was tested for COVID. I would not be on the protocol if I was not.
Do you know
The
what
nurses-
type of test? Was it an oral swab, a nasal swab?
It was a nasal swab.
All right. Do you know when the results of that test will be back?
From my understanding, Friday. That's what I was told by the doctors. I would have to be at least on this protocol until the results come back, which
Were you-
he said the earliest would be Friday.
Were you offered a rapid test?
They said they do not do the rapid test.
So you weren't offered a rapid test?
They said they don't do them.
If one can be obtained, are you willing to submit to a rapid test?
I'm not willing to submit to anything right now until we take care of the issues that's at hand. I mean, I've already been placed on the protocol. Frankly, I'm very afraid right now because I don't know what's going on. This is new to me. Like I said, I'm fully vaccinated, Your Honor. I've been fully vaccinated since 2021. And so for this to just be sprung on me now to say this could possibly be a COVID thing, I've had people close to me that have passed away from COVID. I'm afraid as hell, Your Honor. That's the reason why I submitted the ICF for the adjournment. I was thinking at least until I can get the results, at bare minimum. I don't think I'm asking something that's
Sir,
impossible for
if
Your
I
Honor
can
to
make
grant.
arrangements to have a rapid test brought to you and administered, are you willing to submit to that test?
Not at this time.
Why not?
Not at this time.
Why not?
Why can't I get the results for the test I already took?
But you're telling me you're scared? You're
Yes,
fearful?
I am.
But you don't
very.
want to take a test that might
I
tell
took
you today?
I took the test that he gave me. If
And you're
he
telling me
felt-
that test result won't be available to you until at least Friday.
At least Friday, that's what I was
So
told.
tomorrow.
I was told that I would be placed
day
on this
after.
protocol until the results came back. The earliest that the results would be back would be Friday.
So that sounds like, to me, I think that's what they call a PCR test.
I have no idea, Your Honor.
Okay.
I have no idea what it's called. Like
Let
I
me
said,
ask
I've
you-
never had COVID. I don't know the test names. I don't know what they call them.
I'm generally familiar with some of the testing for COVID. There are tests that can be what we call rapid tests, or what are called rapid tests, that are available. And then there's these other tests which take a few days. Again, I'm not a scientist, but I think the general belief would be sometimes the rapid tests are accurate, sometimes they're not. Sometimes people test negative when they're really positive. It just kind of depends on the circumstances. But it's my understanding a positive test would be pretty accurate. And then there's other tests that take a few days for the results to come back. It really depends on the lab that's being utilized, etc. I'm asking you once again, if a rapid test can be obtained, are you willing to take a rapid test?
How would that be obtained? How would it be obtained?
I would
was
work
told,
with-
I can only go by what was told to me, because when I was brought in there and they told me that they had to test me for COVID, I was immediately like, what do you mean you have to even test me for this? What is this about?
Well,
I had
didn't
a
you
lieutenant.
report symptoms to them?
Excuse me, Your Honor. I had a lieutenant and 2 officers present when I was asking all these questions. Why do I need? What's going on with this? Why is this? Why is this? Why is that? Because I didn't understand. Immediately in my head, I started to get afraid when they said they had to even test for COVID.
Well, were you reporting being sick and symptoms prior to them asking you to test?
Yes, I've told multiple officers. I didn't know what it was at first because it started with fatigue, with me feeling very fatigued. And I said, man, I don't know if it's just me being tired, or that's what I initially thought it was. Maybe I'm just a little exhausted. But I said, no, anybody knows their body. I said, this got to be something more, because I'm really, I don't even have an appetite. Then when I'm trying to eat, I can't taste anything. That's what said, okay, now I need to put the medical sick
When did
call
you
slip
report these symptoms to the medical people, or to even just a correctional officer?
in. A few days ago. Over the weekend is when I started to notice the fatigue. So I was telling officers, man, I don't feel good. I don't know if it's just I'm tired. Usually I don't just jump the gun and say something's wrong, because it may just be, it could be anything. So
When did you report the loss of taste?
I reported the loss of taste last night.
And was it after that that they told you they wanted to test you?
No, they didn't tell me till this morning that they wanted to test me.
What other symptoms are you reporting at this time?
That was it so far, just the fatigue and the loss of taste, which is the reason why I was told that I had to take the test. Which I was told at that time also that the earliest my results would be back would be Friday.
And you said at this point you're not willing to take a rapid test.
Well, they said this is the test that they do. The nurse was very clear in what he was telling me when he told me how the test, because like I said, there was a lieutenant and 2 officers right there while the whole thing was going on.
I understand all of that. I have a very specific question to you, sir.
I was asking them questions, and he specifically told me that this jail, this is the test that they do. They do not do rapid tests. I didn't even ask about the test because I know nothing about the test. This is what I was told. And after he told me that, I said, okay, fine, just do the test and I'll just sit on the protocol, because at first when he told me, you know, you're going to have to be on a protocol where you're isolated. I said, okay, fine, just do the test. I'd rather you do the test and make sure that I'm healthy than to just refuse the test and just say, I'll just wait to see if I get better or something like that. So I said, yeah, just go ahead. And that's what I was informed. Friday would be the earliest that I would get the results back, and I would be placed on a protocol which is called isolation, where I'm not allowed out of my cell.
Anything else, sir, you think I need to know about this issue as I consider your request?
No, at this time, I'm just telling you what I know. Multiple officers were there. They can tell you the same thing that I'm telling you now. Like I said, a Lieutenant Chamberlain was there. 2 officers were there.
Any objection if I talk to any of them to confirm what you're saying?
Absolutely not.
Any objection if I need to ask the jail administrator about, or anyone else at the jail about, the protocols and what's available for testing?
Absolutely not.
Given any information about whether anyone else in the facility is experiencing COVID right now?
I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know who. I'm in the mental health medical pod as it is.
So no information's been provided to you that there's like either a lockdown or some type of a restriction due to any like concern over COVID at this time?
I would never have that information, because like I said, I'm limited in the pod that I'm in. I have no interaction with any other inmates, and my interaction with staff is pretty limited.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that additional information. I know, sir, what I've provided to you is generally the for employees. I fully recognize that the jail may have different protocols just because of it being in a correctional facility, and inmates are, of course, or can be very close to one another. And so I don't want to presume that this is exactly what they follow. And so I'd like for them to tell me what their protocols are as I consider this request. At the moment, I told you this earlier, you're not within 6 feet of anyone else in this courtroom. And I believe that provides ample protection for the other people in this courtroom. As I consider this request, you've provided information to the court. You've been able to tell me the symptoms that you are reporting, your understanding of the protocols, and despite you reporting fatigue, I know, I don't know if you're standing or sitting on the chair. I can't quite tell. It appears like you're standing, but maybe leaning over the table.
I got a knee on the chair.
Oh, knee on the chair. Okay, but you've been able to very clearly, coherently make your position known to the court at this time, and I appreciate that. Let me ask